Welcome back to my therian mask tutorial series. This is part 2. We're going to be modifying the base today. So if you've seen part 1, you should know some of the materials that we'll need, but here's what we're going to need for today. Your paper mask base, an X-Acto knife, hot glue, scissors, and some kind of thin cardboard. I'm using a torn apart tissue box. I know I didn't put this in the materials video. That's because I've seen people use like foam, or I guess you could use that stabilizer stuff that I showed. But since I have this on hand and I've been using it for a while, this is just what I'm going to use in the video. If you have something similar, feel free to use that. So plug in your hot glue gun and let's get going. The first thing that we're going to need to do is check if your mask base has elastic on it like this. If it does, we are going to need to cut it off because this kind of elastic is not very strong and your mask can and will go flying off your head if you keep this. So we're just going to chop this off. It's not going to be very neat. As you can see, there's still some bits. So I'm just going to clean this up real quick. Here we go, one side done. Let's finish removing the elastic. Now that we're all done, the next thing that we're going to need to do is make some modifications to the shape of the mask. This is where your pencil will come in handy because we're going to draw on little markings for what parts we want to cut off. Something that I like to do is to widen the eyes a little bit. You don't have to, but I'm going to show you what I do. I usually only widen the eye on the top and not the bottom because I like the eye shape that it makes better. You can cut it however you like. Now that we've done that, we're going to make some modifications to the jaw area of the mask. I like to cut it like right here. All right, now that I'm done drawing all the markings on, we're going to cut these places. And I find that it's very difficult to cut this area on top of the eye with regular scissors because as you can see, it's kind of hard to like maneuver the scissors to cut these little corners right here. So this is what the X-Acto knife is for. Also, make sure that you do not cut yourself with this. It's really sharp. Now that we've got one eye done, let's move on to the other. Ignore what I did right here and right here. If you make little mistakes like this, they can be easily covered up with like fleece and lining later. Now it's time for these bits. These can be cut out with scissors. All right, we're all done modifying the eyes and the jaw, but I know what you're thinking. These ears are pretty ugly, and you're right, so we're going to get rid of them. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a line like this. Make sure you only preserve the flat bits of the head. You don't want the parts of the head that are raised up by the curve of the ear because we're going to add our own ears later and they're not going to look like that. All right, now we're going to cut along these lines. You don't need an X-Acto for this. Scissors should be fine. Our mask is officially bald. Now it's time to fill in these generous holes in his forehead. This is where our cardboard or foam comes in. And here we are. These will be what fill these gaps. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to line it up and we're going to grab a pencil and we're going to draw in the remainder of the head right here. Just like that. Now we're going to trace this. All right, now take this off of the head, and I'm going to go over this line so you can see it. And we are going to draw a section around it that's about maybe a little less than 1 centimeter in width, except for this top part. That we leave. And now we cut out this bigger outline. And here we have it. Now before we glue it in, let's make the other side. Now that we have both pieces, we're going to glue them on. The way that we're going to do this is by hot gluing this strip and then pressing it up right here so that this edge lines up with the line that we drew. Make sure when you glue it on, you press the whole thing down securely, because it would really suck if this came off after it was all fleeced and painted and everything. Tip: if your hot glue gun isn't working, it's probably because you need to add another glue stick. Now let's do the other side. Congratulations, your mask has been officially baldified, but more importantly, it's been prepared for the next step, which is fleecing. See you in part 3.